I started training at the beginning of lockdown through my brother, and in about 6 months from then, I had bulked up quite well, and the people that used to know me then saw that change, and it looked like from the outside that I had made a really good improvement and that I felt great. However, about probably the first 2 years of that training journey, physically speaking, I didn't feel very good. I really didn't. And that primarily came down to the food that I was eating. Now, I'm going to say this, that you can look good but feel physically rubbish. And that is exactly how I felt. Now, for reference, I was eating more of a carb heavy diet, if you will. Yeah, sure, I was still having protein like chicken and such, but a lot of the time it was having lots of pasta, lots of rice. I didn't really have that many sort of ultra processed foods, but I might tend to have other sort of foods that would have fillers in it and so on and so forth. And that caused a lot of issues. It really did. And I've done a video on this previously, but I just didn't really feel good. I want to talk more about why. So the first thing I want to say is that when I was having loads and loads of carbs, although that did help me bulk, that was not the ideal thing to do. And I found that I always had lots of brain fog, I always had bloating, and it just generally wasn't really that good. And I always felt really tired and demotivated and so on and so forth. Now, what I will say is that this at the time just felt normal. It just felt that, oh, okay, this is just the thing that I'm dealing with, and there's not really much to go about doing it. It's just a phase of my life. And I wasn't even aware of all the other extra additives in food as well, right? You've got things like stabilizers, you've got things like seed oils, you've got all sorts of other sort of bits in there which really don't need to be in food. And it's only been the last year and a half, 2 years, where I've really made a lot of changes with what I'm eating. So the first thing is that I've gone on a more animal-based diet, where I'm focusing on just having meat, fruit, you know, eggs, sort of animal products, and that's majority speaking it. And by doing that, it's effectively a low carb diet, higher protein, higher fats. And that has been a really big change where now I rarely ever get brain fog. I always have quite a good amount of energy, and I'm not like I don't really feel lethargic a lot of the time. And I generally are going to eat pretty clean. I have filtered water, and so on and so forth. Now, what is interesting is that I have just come back from my holiday in Portugal, and obviously, I'm going to be honest. The eating there was mixed. Some days I'd have lots and lots of variety of meats. Other times it was just a bit of a cheat days, as you will. And I could immediately tell the difference in, since when I've been sticking to a clean diet compared to one that was a mixture of all sorts of things, including lovely pastries and such. But the point being of this video is that, look, right, like my physique didn't just roll over and keel over and die, right? Like it pretty much stayed relatively the same because of course it was only a short period of time. But physically speaking, right, in terms of the energy I had, in terms of the way I felt, like that really did change a bit over the holiday, or like over that time where I was eating different foods. And so I really want to drill it home that you really need to be conscious of what you're putting into your body, and what you're putting on your body and so on and so forth. And obviously this can go beyond food, but I really want to just make sure that you understand that next time when you're going to buy something, look at the ingredients, figure out what the hell is actually in this thing, what it does. And usually it's literally a simple thing of me just putting in the ingredient name and then putting dangers or, negative effects on the body. And I'll figure out that there's something there that probably isn't ideal, right? Something there which maybe increases the chances of you feeling bloated, of you getting headaches, and whatever other things. Just having that awareness is really key. I'm not saying to cut out all of the, I don't know, bad foods. What I am saying is to take a bit more awareness, because having more awareness of it will give you a better idea of what you should and shouldn't be putting into your body. Because as much as it is good to look good, at the same time, if you don't feel good, that's going to cause issues across your entire life and across the work you do, and across your ability to focus, and even in social situations. Let me know if you're someone that has experienced this and what your stories are. But that said, I'll chat soon.